He was also former general manager of the Red Wings. Ever have any of those sessions with him where you just kind of sat down and talked about what was going on?
Lots of times. Ted had passion. Ted would come to the rink, on a regular basis. And, those stool sessions he had with the players, I know he had those with the coaches. Mike Babcock, I know Mike would enjoy when Ted would come in his office, and he'd come into my office and sit for an hour and just talk hockey, talk about the state of the team and things that he saw. He watched all the games. He loved hockey. He had a passion for hockey. He had a passion for the Red Wings. He wanted the team to be good, and he liked to be around. Obviously, years ago, he would come here on a regular basis and sometimes work out. But he liked being around the locker room, being around the players.
You appreciate the history of this franchise better than most, and you understand it. Are there times like this, though, when you see the number 7 in red and white and his name in every NHL rink, where you step back and go, I work at a special place where a lot of great people have worked?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, you see those banners up in the rafters, from those players from the 50s that really put hockey on the map, probably, in this city. And what they meant to this franchise for the rest of their lives. Obviously, Gordy left for a while, but came back. Mark Howe has been here since the early '90s as a player and a pro scout. Alex Delvecchio has lived here his entire career. Ted lived here, so they were Red Wings, but they became part of the community, and they gave back. And it was an original six. It was a time it was an original six. And certainly the Detroit Red Wings for many years were one of the elite teams in the National Hockey League. So the things that they accomplished went worldwide. Not only in Detroit, but created Red Wing fans worldwide. And on today, it's a celebration of an incredible life today and tomorrow, and on the ice. But I also think, just as importantly, off the ice, what he meant to this game, to this sport, to this city, the respect that he gave and got, the passion that he had for the sport, the passion for the people in the sport. He was a fierce competitor on the ice. He was a fierce competitor off the ice, and great role model for so many people that have been in this game for a long time.
Is there one moment that you had with him that you'll cherish most?
I can't speak to one moment. I just every moment. Whenever Ted walked in the room, he was always upbeat. He was always positive. Loved to talk hockey, and was really up to date on what was going on. So he'd walk in and he'd watch the games the night before, or games night after night after night after night, and he had his views and thoughts on our team and on the game and what we needed to do to be better. And you think back over the last the last 2 or 3 years when we've been rebuilding, but prior to that we made the playoffs 25 years in a row, and as we were trying to head down the stretch and go into the playoffs, he'd be around, he'd be talking whether it's Jeff Blashill, Mike Babcock, whoever was the coach. He was always fun to talk to because he loved, his passion for the sport came out. He was upbeat, he was positive, he was an incredible man.
The whole team went through, and you're at a time where there's a lot of young guys on this team. What do you hope that they take from this? How things get passed down in this organization?
I think that when you come into this organization, you understand fairly quickly the history of this franchise and what these players and this team has meant to the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, the love affair, and all the great times. And certainly there's good times and bad times, but you think about all the great times, and these players we're talking about. Obviously today it's Ted Lindsay in the 50s, what this team meant. We're 60, 70 years later, and we're celebrating an icon, a great man. But I also think it's not only what the players do on the ice, and that's the most important, but it's what they do off the ice and how they lead their life, how they give back. That's what Ted did. He gave back, how he respected the game. And I think that for the young players that are in there that maybe weren't around Ted as much, but Nick Cronwell was around Ted, and the older players will tell the younger players who Ted was and what he meant to the game, to the city. Good?
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ken.